Hello everyone, my name's Dean. Let's talk crypto. It is August 1st, 2021, and many people are starting to realize that we are not going down to zero in Bitcoin. The cryptocurrency market isn't going to crash and have a 2-3 year long bear market. We will have a second part of the bull run for 2021. As I've been saying, as a lot of other people have been saying actually, and now it's apparent, not just with what Bitcoin has done, but also with what we've seen in other projects. So that is something to reckon with, and it's not only that we will have it, it's that we are having it. And so that's the topic of conversation for this episode. We've already started the bull run. Bitcoin's run 40%. If you're hearing this and you're not exposed, you're not invested, you are waiting for a good entry, don't feel bad. That's what I'm going to be talking about. You're not too late if you do act soon, right? Obviously, it would have been nice to get in at 30K. But to be frank, it wasn't a sure thing. Also, it was prudent. It is typically prudent to wait for retests before getting in, right? Because you never know. It might just be buying high for it to come crashing down on you. So don't beat yourself up. Here's the deal. If you are subscribed to this channel, you will have seen the previous episode where I discussed how this almost identical scenario has taken place twice, two other times in Bitcoin's history, in Bitcoin's 10-year history, once in 2013 and another in 2015. The 2013 instance is most appropriate because it's almost exactly what we dealt with, what we're dealing with at present. We had a bull run. It was interrupted by a bear trend that lasted approximately 90 days, and then the bull run resumed. And so in terms of the technicals, the charts look almost identical, except that Bitcoin looks a lot more bullish, a lot more momentous in this in the current day than it did back in 2013. And that may be due to the institutional adoption that we've experienced. So let's get specific here. All right, we've already said Bitcoin pumped 40%. Now, is it just going to continue going up until it reaches 100 plus K? No, it's going to retrace. But how much is it going to retrace? Again, if you're subscribed and you were able to watch listen to and watch the previous episode, you will have seen that I discussed the possible retrace targets. I initially thought erroneously that we're going to come back down to 30K, and I think that is unlikely, more unlikely now. Why? Because historically we come back to the 382. In the two previous instances that this happened, we came back to the 382. We never came back down to the point of breakout, the exact point of breakout. And actually, the point of breakout, to be honest, was not. Yeah, it was about zero. The second thing is, although we came back to the 382 last time, Bitcoin's that much more bullish this time. So I don't know what that means. Does that mean we come back further because we ran up further? Because in the previous instances, Bitcoin ran up to about halfway of the range, so like the 0.5, and then corrected and then resumed. But here we ran up all the way to the top of the range, and we're still actually testing the top of the range now, as if like Bitcoin wants to break it without even retesting. Obviously, it's going to retest, but so for a first wave, and I've identified this as the first wave of the 5-wave Elliott wave impulse for this next part of the bull run. it's meant to retrace between the 382 and the 0.5, but it can go as shallow as the 618. So it's possible that if it just touches the 618, it's fulfilled the requirements of a second wave retrace. So just FYI, I think the likely scenario is that it wicks down to the 0.5. And so if you set some limit orders at around 35,500, I think you'll be okay. Now, some of you may be thinking, Dean, that's great. But I'm not really thinking about Bitcoin now. I'm thinking about some other altcoins that I totally missed the entry on. I see them pumping crazy. Like some of them are pumping 20, 30%. You're fine. Why is this? One, if Bitcoin retraces, let's see what percent that would be if it retraced to the 0.5. If Bitcoin retraces 16%, the alts will most likely retrace 23%. So you'll have even better entries on the alts, right? But not every project is running at the same time. Crypto, one thing I've learned, is all about timing. And some people keep saying, don't time the markets, don't time the markets. Well, you damn well better try, because it's all about timing. You can have all the money in the world. If you enter at a bad time, what's going to happen is the market's going to eat your capital, and then it's going to run on you when that becomes pretty close to nothing. Obviously, if you don't realize the loss by selling, you should be okay. But still, if you were to buy at a more opportune time, you get twice, 3 times, 4 times as many coins. So it's a huge timing thing. And you don't have to be perfect, but more or less trying to find a system whereby you can time, your buys, your entries, you can time, your exits. That's ideal. And that's most of the game. So let's look at some altcoins, and I'm going to show you. And then you can get an idea. There's patterns, and you just have to recognize the patterns, right? So what's the first pattern you should recognize? And this is going to be a little on the long side, but I hope you guys don't mind. I hope you guys are gaining value, because, hopefully you can leverage this into really good entries and really good gains, right? Build your wealth. Essentially, we have this Wyckoff accumulation pattern. That is the pattern. This is what you're going to see over and over and over again. It's going to look a little different in different projects, but essentially that's what you're going to get. And you're going to get this first wave going up. Sometimes it's going to look a little different, but it's going to go up and eventually come down, retest, and then continue for the third wave of the Elliott wave markup. So let's go into a project like Matic Polygon that's popular. In this case, you have the same Wyckoff accumulation, but it's slanted downwards. Why is that? Matic, it was one of those projects that did extremely well. It was one of the best performers of 2021, so it was higher than most. This is why the leftmost part of this range is high, and then the rightmost part is lower. So you're essentially getting the same thing. It's just slanted downwards. Here you're getting that first wave, and I drew this out. I said that I drew this out when we were like here. I said we have to come here to fill this liquidity, to capture this liquidity. Right now we're over the 55 EMA. What's going to happen is we're probably going to go just a smidge further and then start the retrace. So for instance, if you're looking at Matic, all you do is you use your fib tool, something like this. Whatever this does, you just wait for it to go up, and then and set a limit order for the half mark. It's going to come down back to 92 cents, thereabouts. Or you can monitor it, right? These things run, but they're not like, Usain Bolt. They're not going to run away like, if you're following, you can catch them. You just have to kind of know more or less what you're looking for. But they're going to come back down so you can make your entries, okay? So that's one example. Actually, you guys would be surprised. Actually surprised myself. The best chart I've seen right now, August 1st, is this. If you want an optimal entry, if you want to buy the floor, look at this. This is Shiba Inu. All right. Say what you want about the fundamentals of this project. I don't care for it too much. It's number 46 on CoinMarketCap, I believe. Pretty high market capitalization. It's impressive that it's that high. It's impressive that 60 million people, I believe, are holders of this project. And I'm not really clear as to the practicality, the function, the reason why it exists other than just being a dog coin. But if you're just looking speculatively at this project as an investment, as something that is reliable, that may very well be around after the bear market, if you want to hold that long, I wouldn't. But if you are, then this is good. I mean, and if you're complaining about, oh, I missed out, this is literally the equivalent of buying Bitcoin at 31,000. Earlier today, it was literally here. So this is what I'm saying. Like, you're on the floor here. This is going to come up probably as high as where I put this line here. And then it's going to do its retrace, and then it's going to start. So again, not everything runs at the same time. The timing is a little different for different projects, but they're essentially going to fill out the same patterns. Let's look at Cardano. This is a popular one. You'll see this pattern in ETH, for instance, in Ethereum, this kind of W pattern. And again, you have a slant. This was a good performer in 2021, so it was pretty high, relatively high. And here you see it come up. Will it fulfill the technical target, the measured move of this W pattern, which is, what am I doing? Which is typically from the bottom to the neckline, from the breakout? Yeah, probably, because that's more or less the top of the range. But honestly, Bitcoin hit the top of its range, so maybe it hits the top of its range. So look, you still have, let's say that's 180 before it starts correcting. Let's say you want to get in, like, before it even starts correcting, and then, sell at the top. You still have 20% potentially. I'm not sure if it's going to hit its measured move, but there's potentially still 20% on ADA, a top 5 project. All right. VET, same thing. You get the W pattern. I said that it was at least going to come up to where I put the arrow. That was a few days back. AMP is a bit of a strange one. It is one of those projects that was really, really, really hot. And so, it's very slanted, but it looks like it's still got quite a bit to go just to hit its 5th wave of its sort of first, the 5th part of the first wave. So again, Elliott wave theory is fractal, meaning you can break it down. There's a wave within a wave within a wave within a wave. So this first wave of the second part of the bull run can be divided into 5. And so if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, that's such a beautiful textbook bull flag right there. That's 1, 2. I'm on a daily chart, by the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. That's beautiful. Like, what's the measured move of that? It's going to be boom. That's why I drew that line there. So 13. What are we now? 7. You want to 2x your money? Put it in AMP. Easy, right? Don't buy the, oh, you're too late, you missed it. Don't try to time the markets. Some influencers are saying that you should just buy a hold in DCA, and DCA is great. It's a great strategy because it does take some work, does take some attention. But if you're watching this video, you're probably the type that is looking to learn more about charting, is looking to learn more about how to make a more targeted entry. And yeah, you can do it. Don't let anybody tell you can't, because it's possible. It's just most people don't do it. Most people aren't willing to put that much time and effort into really acquiring the skill. But once you acquire it, I mean, come on, talk about learning how to fish. ETH. So this is the one I was talking about that has that W pattern, and the measured move is actually a bit beyond the top of the range. That's why I had a video saying I don't know if it's going to complete this measured move, but it very well may. But it may come up short, kind of like a little bit beforehand, and that's still 3,000. So if you see how much is left, you still got freaking 14% move left in ETH before it retraces. So if you want to be cheeky, you put your money in ETH, you wait till 14%, you sell that, then you get back, then you measure that with Fibonacci retracement, and just to be safe, you try to catch it back at let's say you want to be really conservative. It's definitely going to hit the 618, the golden mean. Just catch it back at 25.34. You're not late. You're not late. Especially if you're watching this anywhere close to August 1st, you're not late. There's still time. So don't feel like you missed out on anything. Don't let anybody let you feel like that. And even if you did miss out, and let's say you watch this a week from now, Bitcoin is going to go down. So a lot of these alts, so when Bitcoin goes down and does its retrace, because it's been testing the top of these ranges of its range as if like it doesn't need to retest at all. That's how bullish it is. It's like it's got irrational confidence. When it does start, losing steam and coming down and retracing and resting on the 618 golden ratio and probably wicking down to the 0.5, maybe a little bit between the 0.5 and the 382. It's going to pull a lot of these projects down with it. So a lot of your favorite projects may retrace a lot more than, just 0.5. They may come down lower. So again, you have your entries. Don't let anybody tell you you don't. You just have to monitor things, have a few, basic skills, know how to, do a Fibonacci retracement, know basic Elliott wave, and count the waves and just wait until it's at the top. Even if you don't know Elliott wave, just wait till it's at the top, pull your Fibonacci retracement tool out and count the 0.5, which is the really, really conservative thing. Actually, the most conservative is 618. It's probably going to wick down to the 0.5 if it's super bullish, but you get my point. All right. I hope this was helpful. I hope this was useful. I hope you're excited to make a lot of money because we've done all this work. We've suffered so many months of downtrends and, just watching our capital whittle to nothing. Now we're going to make it all back and then some. This is the small period in time that, we make, mind-blowing, life-changing gains. So this is the time. It's come. I hope you're ready. I hope you're excited, and, good luck. All right. Thank you. I'll talk to you guys later.